Hello, my lovely friends. This is Valores again with a very exciting topic and video. It has to do with me when I was young, like a child. But I've got a lot of laughs as I get older of what I used to do. Um, I have two grandmothers. Everybody do have two, but one was so terrible towards me. So the topic for this video is um, Grandma from ELL versus Scotch Bonnet Grandmother. The Scotch Bonnet grandmother, Scotch Bonnet Pepper grandmother, that's my mother's mother, also my grandmother. And the evil, wicked one from ELL, that's a bad one. I got a lot of fun out of her. So, my mother got pregnant as a teenager with me, and my alleged father was also a teenager. When my grandmother took my mother to my father's parents and told them that my mother was pregnant with me, these people are very rich. They have a land over 100 acres and money. My mother's side, we weren't rich, we weren't poor, we were somewhere in between there. We were managing okay. So when my grandmother now took my mother to my alleged mother, and father to said that my mother was pregnant with me, World War III began, and they had a feud and cursed out. And my father's side cursed my grandmother, Scotch Bonnet, my grandmother, cursed her really, 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 really bad. But and at the same time she cursed my mother of what should happen to my mother, and just terrible, terrible. But the one from ELL, she didn't know that Scotch Bonnet grandma knew anything about her. And that my grandmother on my mother's side cursed her so bad, things that she didn't know anybody know about. And my grandmother cursed her so bad that she run and she not even cry, she bawl. Big disgrace, I heard. That's what my grandmother tell me. Big disgrace in the neighborhood. And from then she despised us to the dirt where we stand on. Anyhow, they couldn't find him to take him to court when I was born for what do you call it, support. They hid him in the 14 parishes of Jamaica. Every parish he went to, and the police went there, he moved to another parish. So they had to get his best friend to bring him, serving them summons. Anyhow, he had to go to court, and the judge ruled that he's supposed to give money every month. He never gave 1 penny, because I understand his mother told him, never ever give me anything, or else they would disinherited him. And it was harsh, harsh, harsh of what will happen if he ever give me 1 penny. Right? So he didn't give nothing. So anyhow, they had sent him to school in the US, and he studied mechanics for 2 years. And then he went to England and opened his own mechanic shop. And I heard he was very good. He was the 3rd best mechanic in one of the parts of England. I don't know. I won't say the name. I think Manchester, Birmingham, London. I can't say the word right. And I don't know exactly what the county or state that he was in. He was recognized as the third best mechanic in that time. And he made money, but he was also a gallist, I understand. So anyhow, one day we were on, I was small and my grandmother raised me. And I remember she was combing my hair, I was sitting on the veranda. And I heard a heavy construction shoes sound coming to the side of the house. And at the same time, I saw this man came to the front of the veranda, and he had a long GUN. I wasn't frightened or anything like that. But my grandmother said to him, "What do you want? Why do you come here? What do you want now?" And the only response he said to her, "Turn her face, let me see her." And my grandmother stopped combing my hair, and she told me to turn around. And I did turn around, and he looked at me. And then he looked and he looked and he looked and he asked what's my name and stuff like that. And he told her if they could bring him to the house, their house, which is about, I would say, maybe half an hour walk, because we go through shortcuts. And they should bring me the Sunday. So they took me the Sunday. I don't know why. I see lots of people, I don't know them, but I spent about 2 hours, and then my grandmother's husband would take me there, brought me home. So then I started school, and I was told they're near to the school, and I was gonna have a lunch every day there because I have 5 cousins living with my heel grandma. There were 5 cousins living there, okay, and these were my cousins. So anyhow, I would go for lunch. The lunch wasn't too good, but I had it, I had that lunch. So anyhow, so I'd go there 5 days per week for lunch. Then when I reach about, say, maybe 8, 9, I'd say 8 years old, where I could travel alone at those days through the passage. And my grandmother sent me to spend 1 week with them, right? That's my father's relatives. And because that grandmother has never spoken to me. She never said nothing to me. She know I'm there, but she never said nothing. So I realized she didn't like me. But I like to play with my cousins. So what I would do, I'd hide my clothes in a tangerine tree because they have a big, huge house. And then behind the huge house, they have an older house. I guess that's where my father and his siblings grew up. But the bigger house was bigger and nicer, and it was at the front of the house. So they have a big flower garden, took up the width of the house. So I would hide my clothes there. I don't know why I did that, but I know she didn't like me. That's my heel grandmother. And when I got there, I'd walk up the path to the house. There were 2 trucks parked there, and there was another passage, another vehicle there. They had a big bus that used to do a 3-point turn in that thing. That truck, that bus people, they used to bring the paper, the Daily Gleaner, and they would turn and go. That's the terminal. And I would go up the passageway, and when I went to the passageway, heel grandma was always sitting where the oven is because she does bake wedding cakes and stuff like that for other people. But she would be sitting right there if she wasn't baking anything. And the moment I would go up and she see me, she said, I would say, I'll give her name, say Pearl. I said, "Mon, Miss Pearl," she said to me, "when did you come here?" And I said, "I just come, ma'am." She said to me, "After you get tea, tomorrow morning, get 2 dry coconut and go over. Okay?" So that's all I want from her. I would say, "Yes, ma'am." And then I'd start playing with my cousins because they know I'm there. And they'd had me to hide because I have to spend 1 week and I can't go back home to my grandmother and tell her. She said I'm to leave because I don't, there would be war again. And I didn't want that. I just wanted peace. And my cousins would give me food. Every one of them would give me a piece of their food, like a yam, a dumpling, some salt provision, whatever. And that's where I stayed until, well, when she says, "Go tomorrow after tea," I would take the coconuts and throw them away and then come back to the house and I would hid there. And my cousins would give me food, everything, but she don't know I'm there. So then I'll go back home to my grandmother when the week is finished. And my grandmother would say, how was your week?" I said, "It was good. I played." So she feel good. But she don't know that that the treatment of that grandmother treated me. Because once night comes, because she wants me to leave the next day. So I would sleep in her room. Her room was, she occupied the older house. And when it was bedtime, she put a piece of cloth on the floor at the foot of her bed. And she said, "Sleep there." So I slept on the floor. No cover anyhow, just no pillow either. Just a piece of cloth. It looks like it's a big plaid. It's a handkerchief like for the head. And that's where I'd sleep. And it's daylight. And I have tea, I take the coconut. And I said, "My God, ma'am." And she'd kiss her teeth. But I just went and hide and come back and I would stay for a week. And every time my grandmother would say, "Go and spend a week. It's holiday season. Go spend a week, or say 4 days or 3 days with my hell grandma." So I'd gladly take my clothes and I would hide it as usual in the tarangere tree. And as soon as she see me, and I says, "Morning, Miss Pearl. When did you come here?" I says, "Well, I just come, ma'am." "Oh, tomorrow morning after tea, get 2 dry coconut and go over." So I say, "Yes, ma'am, I'm going to play." And she thinks in the morning I take up the 2 coconut and I throw them away on the other side of the road. So she didn't know when I come back because they would tell me she's coming. My cousin would say, "She's coming this way, she's coming that way." Or she has an old slipper you hear, "Scooped." So that's how I hide. So I did that. And till the week is done, I go over and tell my granny how I had a lovely time. So now, and next time now, I came. I'm always glad to play with my cousins, 5 of them. So, and we're all the same ages, maybe 6 months apart. So anyhow, I went this time, and as usual, she want to know how long I'm there, when did I get there, and I should leave the next day. This time, she caught me because we were all having showers together. 5 of us was in the shower. I guess we're making too much noise, frolicking. And she just pulled that bathroom door. It's a bathroom is about 10 by 10. Two showers and we all bathing. And when she pulled the door and she see me, she said, "You're wretch! You're not gone yet! Eh? Don't I have to go a long time?" And that's the way she talk to me. And I said, "When I finish, Mama, going." I finish bed and tell her bye. She kiss her teeth. She don't talk to me. So when I'm there anyhow, I enjoy myself because there's a lot of land with different names depending on who we got. My grandfather bought the land from. So we go to the banana plantation because they sell bananas to the banana board, and they sold coconuts to the copper. They sold sugar to bakeries and stuff like that. So I just say, okay, I'm going, and I'm leaving, but I never go home. I can't go home because I don't want no more war. I'm fed up of wars. So anyhow, when you go on the land, we look for the fittest bananas. They're actually ripe, but we like them mellow. So my cousin and I would push down the banana trees. We'd pick pimento, have it dried, and we sell it, and we get money and stuff. We all do all those crazy things. So we know which plantation to go on, which one, whatever we want. So that all kept up. Now, my grandmother, the heel one, she sent my father to England. And he was not ever to have any communication with me or my relatives, my mother, my grandmother, nobody, and not to give me anything. So he went to England, and I hear was working, making it. And I get hold of his address, and I wrote him in England. Every time I got a sixpence, I would write this man, sometime every week, every 2 weeks. I just want to, have a relationship with him. He never write me back. He never sent me a pound. And he spent, it's under 30 years in England. He's at 26 or 28, one of those numbers. He has never given me a nothing. Not one penny from England. So anyhow, the last sixpence I got, because I like to eat bulla and banana. So I took my last 6 pennies and I bought the airmail envelope. This is what I usually write him on. And I was fed up because he never write me back. I'm wasting my money. And I didn't have money as a child. And maybe I was 12, I don't know. So I wrote him and told him something that I really don't know what it meant, but it sounded good. So I write him and I says, "I'm not writing you back because I keep writing you and you won't write me back. And I'm not wasting powder at blackboard." No, I don't know what it really means, but I interpreted it my way. And I went one day to my grandmother and said, "Go spend some time with your grandma." And when I go up the hall, go up the passageway, she was always sitting on a bench in the bakery department. And she saw me, and the moment I said, "Man, Miss Pearl," she said to me, "Say, you look rich, you. Imagine, if your mother tell you to write the letter, she love you. And if it's your grandmother tell you to write the letter, she love you. The letter is a hunger disgrace. Eh? He sent it back and give me." And I was young, but I said, how could he take my letter and send it back to his mother? Why? Anyhow, she says, "Go look for your daddy. You don't have no daddy." Right? And me suppose, and as usual, this ritual, after tea go home. And I know I stayed there. She didn't know. I didn't go back there. I didn't go back there. I can't remember going back because it's just insult on top of insults, and I cannot go and tell my grandmother because my grandma is Scotch bonnet. She tell you a word, you're bad, you better she had beaten you. So anyhow, he went to England and he never give me nothing. But it was the last letter where it says, I am wasting no powder upon no blackboard anymore. And that was it. Then I grew up, came to Canada. And one Sunday I was here and I heard the phone rang. And when I picked up the phone, it was a woman calling me from England. And she said to me, you have a sister. And I said, wow, that's nice. What's her name and how old and thing like that. And she says, she's your, she's not your biological sister, but your father was very good to her, but he's not doing well now. So I said, what's wrong? She said he lost his business, and the landlord for the garage he operated for years tell him to take his tools and his belongings and leave, and he took it really hard, actually crazy man, a walk England. So anyhow, she said he needs help if I could take him. And I'm saying under my breath, you think I'm crazy? You've been to England all these years, you never write me, I write you, send back to your mother, you never give me a penny. And anyhow, she told me how distressed he was, like even sleeping on the road. I said, good for you. So and then I said to the lady, why don't you take him? She says, I'm not in any position to take him. I cannot. So I said, why are you doing this then? She said she was very sick, very, very sick, and she was hospitalized for long periods. And nobody came to assist her, and she had a little girl who was 4 years old. And she said when she went to the hospital, there was nobody that stepped in to help her, help the little girl, and she had to be hospitalized. And he came in and he took care of that little girl to the best, she said. And he was walking in, I would say London. This is a big black man with a white child. And I heard the authorities came down on him. And they questioned him, and somehow they were convinced of what he told them. So they left him. But for 6 weeks, every morning she said, I would say children did, people from the government, they was with him to see how he took care of the little girl and, everything. And they were satisfied and they left him. And she says she was very grateful that he that he took such care of the little girl. Somehow, when I heard of the little girl, and I had young children then, I felt a little thing for him, because that's a baby. Just a little bit, because I despise him because he didn't help me. My stepfather did a lot for me. And I tell you, if he was drowning, and my stepfather was drowning, and he was right at my heel, and my stepfather was a mile, and I could swim, I go stay with my stepfather. He took very good care of me, right? I can say he passed, but I can say he was good to me. I wouldn't have helped him. Anyhow, I said, something, I can't help you. I can't help him. So, all his siblings are in USA. She says, I've written to them before and I've spoken to them and I've sent pictures of the condition he's in, and she wanted to send me a picture, but she didn't send me a picture. when he went to the States, he was very, very, very sick. Because I start talking to him, and when he was in the States, and he was living with his sister, who, based on what she told me, I trusted that she did the best because he followed her and they were very close. Even in England, they were very, very close. But none of them ever encouraged him or he could let none of them know if he was going to help me or what. The mother would know, and I guess they're all going to get disinherited. I don't know how she have so much power, but she have power. Anyhow, I used to call him now and then, and then I decided I'm gonna go see him because I don't know what he look like. I can't remember what he looks like. I did see when I was started, like they call it first class or A class, the lowest form. But if I see him, I wouldn't know him because I never look at him. Never. If I look at him, it's by the corner of my eyes. That's how I look at him. So I really don't know him. And I took the Greyhound and I went to look for him. And when I saw him, oh my God, he looks terrible, terrible. And all I'm saying under my breath, good, good, because you didn't support me. Anyhow, I had gone to Long Island and they took me to Brooklyn. That's where I was staying. And we were all talking. All the cousins also came over to see me. And they were all talking, and my table, I was sitting at a round table, and he was sitting across from me. And we were there talking because we were all from the same nearby villages. So we were asking, well, how is this one doing? Which one passed? And stuff like that. So whoever you was talking to, you turned to them. And as I turned to answer somebody about what they asked me, I felt a hand came over mine, warm and rough. And I looked, and it was his hand. I said, why are you doing that? And he kept saying, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I said, why are you saying that? And he said, all my life, I pray to God that I see you and don't know that I'm related to you and put question to me. Me say, you cheeky, eh? Put question to me. The way it looked like I'd cross the other side of the street. Anyhow, that was that. And he can't say nothing much to me. He'll ask me, what happened to John? What happened to Mary? And if I heard anything about those people, I'd tell them. But no private, there was no privacy there. And I came over and we started talking, maybe every month, 6 weeks. So he was on government assistance because he came from England with only his clothes, very nice clothes, and 3 trunk. Trunk are some big, I don't know what they call in North America, but that's what he brought his tools in. Tools from England, because the landlord allowed him to take his tools. And I would tell you, one of those trunks, I think they would maybe 10,000 because they were good, they were sturdy. Anyhow, he told me I should take the tools. I said, how can I take tools? I take the Greyhound. And I took out 4 pieces. I said, no, I'd have to rent a truck from Canada to come here. Anyhow, I didn't do that. But he tells me he was working, because he can do a lot of stuff. And he was making a little money. Like he said, he finished restaurants at night, and before he finished one, people calling him and things. So he was doing okay. And anyhow, I invited him to come to Canada. I said, come and spend a week with me. He said, no, you're not coming. I said, don't you want to see your grandchildren? He didn't answer. And I said, come for a weekend. You come Friday and you go back Sunday. He said, no, you're not coming. I said, Lord have mercy. Stay. I must bring them. I said, you expect me to bring my children and myself? Stop in a hotel? And it's easy for you. One fare. One bed. He said, no, you're not coming. So I said, we took pictures. He gave me back the pictures. You know those instant pictures? We took pictures and he look at them and he hand them back. He don't want none. So I get the message. Maybe I'm too ugly. I don't know. But he didn't take no picture and I have no picture of me. I don't have no picture of him either. So anyhow, one morning I was talking to him and he was very upset. And I said, what happened? Calm down. And he says, oh, my sister dead and they burn her. I said, what do you mean they burn her? And he said, do you mean cremation? He says, yes. She have her money and her pit and then burn her up. So by the way he was so upset, I realized that if he dies, he don't want to be cremated. He want to be buried. That much I figure out. Because he doesn't support me, but he went to England and he telling people about me. They have my name and my phone number. How he got it? Well, it's from my cousins anyhow. Right? He is dropping my name here, there, and everywhere. He has a daughter, but he never mind the daughter. So, shortly after, another sister died, the one he was staying with. So then they called me from the US asking me if I'm going to take him. I said, no, he hates Canada, and I don't want to take him anyhow. Because I invited him for a weekend and he refused. So anyhow, I'm going to cut out a lot of stuff. So anyhow, he had his own, I think, nurse, because he sometimes suffers from seizures. I guess when they don't take his medicine, I don't know what's going on. So anyhow, they're looking for assistant living. They couldn't, the lady, the social worker I spoke to, she told me the list is very long. So anyhow, they put him into a nursing home. And from the moment they put him in nursing home, I know he's going to go downhill. Anyhow, he passed. I didn't attend the funeral. But you know what happened? He passed. One relative went to the hospital to claim his body and bury it without telling me that he passed. And the only reason why I know is because the hospital says, look, we need proof of who you are. And the proof they gave the hospital said, you know something? We have on record here he has one living daughter. And if we don't get permission from that daughter, we will bury her. We will bury him ourselves, but nobody's going to get the body. And I said, look at this. Why is he going around dropping my name when he didn't help me? Anyhow, I gave permission for them to bury him, and they wanted to cremate him. I says, no, he will not be cremated. He will be buried. And like he was going to be buried Wednesday, they called me up to Tuesday night. So you're not coming and you won't change your mind? And why don't you cremate him? And they're giving me the comparisons of the money to cremate and the burial. And I said no, because I remember how upset he was. And I said that's the least I can do for him, right? Because we didn't have much relationship. We just talk on the phone in the latter years. And there's a lot I'm leaving, a hell of a lot. Anyhow, he was buried. And they go to his room and they took the 3 trunks of tools. Good, first class tools. They took every piece of clothes, every identification, and they found a bank book. And they went to the bank and signed to get the money. And the bank manager said, no, he has a daughter, and that's the beneficiary. They tell the bank manager, said, look, she don't deserve nothing, which is me. She was only a one-night stand. So the bank manager told them, look, it's okay. It might be true, it may not be, but go to the courts. And what the judges say, then you will get the money. And they went to the court. And the court order gave them a bunch of papers and says, we need that daughter's signature, that you don't want nothing. We'll give it to you. And I'll show you something. I can't show you the form. You know what they did? They filled out the form from the court, send it to me, and said I'm to sign it. And they take it to the court, and the court will give the okay for the bank to give me the number. This, let me tell you something. Some people are wicked. Let me tell you something. This is what Heal Grandma laid down before from I was in womb. You understand? So she make her law. Nothing. And I did spoke to another family member, and I asked, could you give me certain information, certain documents? But he don't know I have documents already, but I was just trying him. And I asked him, he says, now ask me a question if you want me to tell you who your daddy. And he hung up the phone. He didn't come back to the phone. Right? And I know there are two ways you can give birth. Vaginal or C-section. I didn't come from the back part. I'm stupid. I don't know if you can see anything here. It says Surrogates Court of State of New York. Whatever. I don't know how much you can see. This is part of the information that the court gave them the parts to send to them. Right? I can't show because it's well written up with the person's name and address and relationship of the deceased. So to the end, from having womb till now, right? She trained people, intimidate people, not to give me nothing. Nothing. Right? Now, excuse me, I have my allergies bothering me too. It's a little better than last week. All I have to say, a lot of parents, they should mind their own business. Because it's the words that my grandmother told my ill grandmother, my Scotch bonnet granny, told her. It better she was beaten than the words. Okay? Words hurt her more. Verbal, what you call it, verbal abuse is deadly. Some people prefer physical. So I'd strongly advise people, come out of people's business. And I decided, if you think that person went and tell the court that I was one night stand, she'll never get what's in the bank because I'm not born from the anus. Let it stay there. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video. Some people will, some won't. But I just want to tell you how I trick my grandmother all the time. The Heal grandmother. And I had to lie to the Scotch bonnet grandmother. Anyhow, I would like to ask you to follow me. I'll be doing a lot of videos on my personal life, plus other things. And please subscribe, please like and share. And I'm out. Thank you.